What's going on, guys? My name's Kev, and this video, I'm going to show you how to connect your AI agents on n8n to a SaaS on Replit so that you can sell your projects at scale using the same agents that you've built in the past. And so what you're seeing, guys, on the screen is the operator agent, and what you're seeing in Replit is my winning AI offer called Creator OS. So really quick, I'm going to show you the demo. So once I sign in to Creator OS, it's going to tell me all of the different social stats. But if we head over to the operating agent, this operator agent has access to every single tool that runs my business. And in our last video, guys, I showed you step by step how to create this operator agent, which has access to my email, my calendar, my Stripe, my contact information, and even my health, which is on my wrist right now as a Whoop strap, which we can use with the APIs that it has, giving us heart rate data, heart rate variability, recovery data, and all that fun stuff. Now, this becomes extremely powerful because that's just one agentic flow that we build for businesses. And so what you're seeing is a custom operating system that is working specifically for my own business. And so I'm just going to show you guys a quick example of how this agent is working and how it calls the operator agent on the back end. And then we're going to build it together from scratch. Now, if you guys haven't built out your multi-agent operator yet, that tutorial is literally the video right before this, and I give you all the blueprints. So if you're brand new to AI, I have a free no-code academy and a paid no-code academy. Depending where you are in your journey, you can choose which academy to join, grab those blueprints, and join me for this tutorial. So first, let's just show you how the chief operator agent works. So this operator agent is going to get this message here that says, send an email to Rick asking if he's going to the Formula 1 Grand Prix Montreal this Sunday. Book an event in my calendar for 4 p.m. this Thursday for a basketball game. Tell me the schedule I have tomorrow so I can prepare. Now, this agent is going to show a cool front-end design of how it's going through the process. But on the back end, guys, on n8n, if we open up the executions, we can actually see the operation running. And when this completes, we're going to get that message back on Creator OS. This is what is allowing us to sell our AI products for 5-figure deals, because we are doing a bunch of different things, but combining all of the operations that a business would need into one application. So this helps them cut all of their software costs. This helps them increase the amount of operations that they can do in a day. And it also helps them be way more productive. And so what you guys are going to be seeing in this tutorial is one of the most important fundamental steps in how Creator OS was built. And that's by connecting these different AI agents. All said, I've sent the email to Rick, booked your basketball game for Thursday at 4 p.m. and provided your schedule for tomorrow. And so here on the back end, we can look at each individual execution to fine tune this operator agent even more. So when the message came in, we can see it executed 4 different steps with the operator agent brain, and then it passed off different tasks to different sub agents. And so the contact agent has all of our contacts. And so that's where it found Rick and Rick's email, and it sent it back to the agent. And then the agent decided to use that email in the actual email agent's message. So here we can see that it says the email has been successfully sent to Rick. And the query message that was sent to this agent gave the email information and the context of the email and the name of the person we're sending it to. And so now, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to build our own operator agent, and then we're going to connect it to a front end on a Replit app so that it looks exactly like this chief operating agent we have here. And once you guys learn that, you can then start building at light speed. And so if we go inside of the active agents, we can actually see all the other n8n active agents that are connected to one SaaS. And so here we have the LinkedIn outreach agent, which is sending connection requests every single day and personalized messages. We have the clap video to shorts agent, which takes a long form YouTube video and converts it to shorts. And so once you guys learn what you have to learn today, you're going to be able to step by step implement all of these other agents, which are tutorials on this YouTube channel. So now, guys, let's get started. So what we have to do is head over to school and actually download that blueprint that I was talking about. And so it's available in both the free and paid academies. And so I'm just going to head over to the free academy. I'm going to open up the Build Your First Multi-Agent Operator post, and I'm going to click on the operator agent's JSON file, and I'm going to download it. And so we're going to head back to n8n, and we're just going to click Create Workflow. When we're in the Create Workflow, we're going to click on the 3 dots in the top right, and we're going to click Import from File. We're then going to click on the operator agent we just downloaded and click Open. And so now you have the entire operator agent ready to go. Now, Everything you see outside of the actual agent flow here is just the visualization of how the agent works. So the contact agent has access to these tools, the health agent has access to these tools, the email agent has access to these tools, so on and so forth. And hopefully that helps you guys understand a little bit quicker. But what you guys really have to do once you import this agent is also import the sub agents. And so we have this first agent built out, but now we want to go back to that same posting and download all of the other sub agents. And so I'm just going to show you guys one of the examples here. I'm going to download the email agent. I'm going to head back to n8n, and we're going to open up one more workflow. We're going to click create workflow. We're going to click on the three dots again. We're going to click import from file, and we're just going to grab that email agent. Now from here, guys, you can follow the tutorial in our last video on how to set up the operator agent. And once the operator agent is set up, then we can move on to our next step. And in this next step, guys, is we actually want to test this workflow. So this workflow is not active, meaning the agent doesn't have anywhere to receive the message except for this small chat window in the bottom left. And so we're going to use this to test the workflow first to see if there's any errors out of the box. And so we're going to say, can you tell me the contacts I have saved in my contacts? And can you tell me my schedule in order for the next 7 days? And what you guys are going to be looking for here when you start testing your operator agent is just for one flow to work successfully. So the first message came to the operator agent. It thought about what to do. The first request was to tell me the contacts. So it went to the contact agent to actually get that information. It then went back to the operator agent chat and then went to the calendar to get my schedule for the next 7 days. And if we go and look inside of the calendar agent, we can see that it's using this API call, which says get all events for next week. Once it does that, guys, it'll just report back to the agent and we should see this response in the chat. Awesome. So just like that, we got the response. Let me just take a little sip. And while that's happening, smash that like button. It would really, really help the channel. Okay, cool. So we can see on the left-hand side, it says here are your saved contacts and your upcoming schedule. So it has Rick, it has Lisa, it has me, it has my brother, it has Susan, Ryan, and a whole bunch of other leads that we've been kind of testing this out with. Then it gave us our schedule listed out day by order. That is absolutely beautiful. I can now visualize my schedule and I can use this to then book in new schedule appointments and add different people or move schedules around, delete appointments or whatever. But the main thing here, guys, is that the chat is working well. So now we need to convert this chat from a static chat widget on n8n into a beautiful looking chat widget, very similar to the one that we have in Creator OS. And so we're going to delete Creator OS because we are going to build this from scratch. And so we're going to head over to replit and our prompt's going to say, I am building a operating system for businesses. This system will use n8n, APIs, and other AI tools to help streamline the business operations for our client. I want you to first build out a nice looking chief operator agent chat widget. And then we can actually grab the screenshot from our own Creator OS and send that to this new build. And so we're just going to open up Creator OS and we're just going to go and find that operator agent widget and we're going to screenshot it. And we're going to drag that into the prompt that we are building. And so now let's read what we got. I'm building an operator system for businesses. This system will use n8n, APIs, and other AI tools to help streamline the business operations for our client. I want you to first build out a nice looking chief operator agent chat widget. And let's get this baby started. We're also going to click this improve prompt. It'll take our first message, make it a little bit nicer for the agent to understand. And then we're just going to start the chat. Now, while that's happening, guys, it's going to take, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to actually build out the entire UI. And so what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to wait for the agent to tell us its plan. We're going to approve its plan, and then we're going to go set up that n8n chatbot so that we can actually export that chatbot and put it directly into this SaaS that we're building. Okay, awesome. So here we're just going to click approve plan and start, and then we could just leave replit for the time being, and we'll head back to n8n. All right, so we're back in n8n. Now we do want to rename this to like personal operator. And then we're going to click on the chat trigger that we've been using. And in the chat trigger, there's a little tab here that says make chat publicly available. So we're going to turn that to on. And then in the mode, it says hosted chat. We want to click on that drop down and we want to choose the embedded chat. Now, for extra security, you could have authentication that is needed to actually access this chat widget. Since I'm building this for multiple employees in my AI agency, I want everyone to be able to access the operator agent. So my authentication is at none. So that looks good. We're going to click out. Now, one thing we got to do, guys, is deactivate all of the different errors on the screen. So on the screen here, we have all of the different sub agents as examples, but they're not actually being used in this workflow. They're being called with their separate nodes. And so when you see these like error signs here, like for the get HRV data, the agent won't be able to turn on until you deactivate all these errors. And so if right now I wanted to click activate, it's going to say problem activating workflow. And that's because of these little error signs. So we're going to go and click deactivate on all of those little error signs that you got out of the JSON code. So like this Stripe one, for example, we'll just select all of those and then we'll click deactivate nodes. Same thing with the social media agent. Same thing with the crypto agent. And now it looks like all of the different tools that had errors are gone. And those weren't real errors. They were just not connected to anything. So we're just going to click save. And now we should be able to activate this chat. Perfect. So now the chat has been activated, meaning we can start to integrate it into the Replit app that we just started building together. And so I'm going to just open this up and we have the chat URL that we need to give to the Replit agent. So that's step one. So we're going to copy this. We're going to head back to the operator agent that we're building, and we're just going to leave that chat URL in the message that we're going to send in a bit. So we do have to go grab a little bit more information. So we're going to go back to the n8n operator that we're working on. And here it says, follow the instructions to embed a chat in a web page. So we're going to click on the here button. And this is the complete docs to actually integrate the n8n chat into any type of app, not just on Replit. And so what we're going to do is we're going to copy the actual URL. We're going to head back to the chief operator assistant that we're building, and we're also going to paste in that URL. Now, the difference between the first URL and the second URL that we sent is that this first URL is the webhook that the messages are going to be sent to. So it's actually using that to conduct a function, versus the URL that we just sent in is the docs instructions on how to implement the agent. And so what I'm going to do on the URL that has the instructions is click get text content. Now what that does, guys, is it scrapes all of the information on that screen. And once it finishes, it should look something like this. And if we open this up, we can see all of the information that was on that screen, and the Replit agent is now going to be able to read it easily, meaning it should be able to one-shot this n8n implementation. And so while that's happening, guys, let's talk about security. And so let's say we were creating this chief operator agent and we wanted to sell it to an entire company. And let's say that company had 100 employees. Well, what we would do is we would deploy this app. So what we would go into the side tab here and we would click deploy, and we would actually set up the deployment and put this entire project on the internet. Now, the way that we can stop people from signing in that shouldn't sign in is we deliver the project to the company, we get all of their emails and all of their sign-in information, and then we lock the actual website so no one other than the people inside of the company can sign in and actually use the app. So the sign up feature actually doesn't even have to exist. And in that way, you can guarantee that no one is going to be able to access their application, AKA access their operator agent. Because imagine someone literally, hacked into their app and then started conducting random different calls, send an email to Susan, tell her she owes me $1 million. Like, that'd be crazy. So it does look like the operator agent has been built out. Now, what's interesting on the left-hand side is that it's asking for the OpenAI API key, but in reality, it doesn't actually need any API keys because the n8n workflow is actually going to be able to handle the entire request by itself. And so that's one little mistake that the agent made here. And so it's already using the API key that I gave it in the Replit secrets, but we don't even need to be using that. And so we're just going to add to this message then. We're going to say that Buildout looks great to start. Now we don't need the OpenAI API key because the n8n workflow already has AI agents built into it. All we are doing on this page is letting the user send in a message to the n8n agent workflow, and we are showing the response from this agent in the chat widget. Then we're going to say this is the webhook URL to access the n8n operator agent workflow. And then we'll say this is the n8n docs to embed this into the application. And since this is a pretty strenuous message, there's a whole bunch of HTML being sent, there's 2 websites being sent and tons of instructions. I'm going to finish off this message by saying, please tell me your understanding and implement. And before we do that, guys, I already know this is not going to work, but we can test the operator agent widget. So we could just write in test, see what happens. Obviously, we got a fail message because it doesn't know what the webhook URL of the n8n chat is yet. So now with this message, it should understand that. So hopefully after this update, it actually one-shots it and it's working. We'll see what happens. Since we have the entire code base and all of these agents already built out into one app, the delivery time is also really, really short. And so when we think about AI agencies at scale, like the companies that are doing over $100,000 a month, the limitations are basically 2 things. It's the actual labor time to implement different projects for businesses, and then it's the price points or not being able to actually recoup enough capital for the services that you provide. And so creating software and creating agents and combining the 2 for a specialized use case or a specialized business is the best offer in the entire AI space. And what I'm doing with my agency right now is we're about to deploy thousands of dollars into Instagram ads for the Creator OS operating system because it has too good of an offer to not just go directly into ads. And so in the Academy, you guys are going to be getting tons of updates about how that's scaling because honestly, it seems that we're sitting on like a mid 7-figure product at this point. And that's why this is very important for you guys to learn because this is just one of the most important pillars of the entire project that you will be building for different clients. Okay, so we can see that it actually imported the n8n code because this is how the n8n code comes out of the box. It looks really, really bad. And so once this update finishes, we're just going to remind it to, change it back into the photo that we sent it with that really nice looking chat widget from Creator OS. And so we'll see what happens here. But once it finishes this step, I might as well test to see if the operator agent is working first. So update says the chat widget now connects directly to your n8n operator agent workflow. So we might as well test it out first. So we're just going to send it a very simple prompt. We're going to say, get my schedule for the next week. And we're going to send that in. So we can see that it's actually thinking. So it might have actually triggered the workflow on the back end. So we can look at that on the back end by looking at the executions tab. And we can see that it is running. So we will just wait to see what that response looks like. But it looks like the n8n agent has been integrated. All right, awesome guys. So it says, here's your agenda from June 17th to 24th. And then we have a Creator OS demo, onboarding call, and then a couple of coaching calls and a basketball game. That's perfect. And boom, we can see that we got it listed out on the SaaS on Replit. So that's a great starting point. Now we can let the agent know that it's working. We can fine tune how it looks and we can continue from here. So I just said that looks great. Now let's redesign the chat widget to look like the image I sent in. Right now it is working. It just does not look like the image I wanted it to look like. We're going to send that in. So now that that's happening, guys, and I showed you how to integrate the chat agent, I want to now show you how to integrate 24/7 agents. And so while this is cooking on the app that we're building, I'm just going to open up Creator OS to explain the difference. So the operator agents are agents that can actually conduct tasks on your behalf, right? So go send an email, go book a call, go send a text. But the active agents are the ones that are actually conducting tasks on our behalf. And they're still using n8n. And so this LinkedIn outreach agent is the outreach agent tutorial that I actually have on this YouTube channel. And the way that this data is actually being shown is that within the agent's workflow, it's being stored in the database. So replit uses a Postgres SQL database, and that's one of the most popular databases for projects like this, and it's built right into replit. So while I was building out the LinkedIn agent, I was able to see what the response data looked like. And you guys can look at that tutorial to understand what I'm talking about. But once I understood what the response data looked like, I then told the agent how to design this database table. Once it made the database table with the columns that is needed to store the information, I then connected a node to the LinkedIn agent. So let me just show you how that works really quick. All right, so you're looking at two different workflows that do the exact same thing. So this Phantom Buster agent is the agent that does the LinkedIn connection requests. But then once it executes its requests, it stores all of that information in the database. And since this agent is doing this every single day, our schedule trigger runs once at a set time every single day to see what the analytics were on that specific day. And that way we can actually see how the performance of the agent is doing over time. Let me show you the active version. So this is the active version of our actual LinkedIn outreach agent, and it runs at that set schedule. Once it does, it gets passed through this pipeline. But in this pipeline, while I was building it out, I saw the actual structure of the response. And so once I saw this response structure, I just copied this JSON, I headed back to the agent, and I said to build that table. Once the agent built that table in the Postgres database, I was then able to send the information that is being received right to the Postgres database. So then once the database information is being stored, you can then present it on the front end so the user who's non-technical can see everything that's going on. And so this is the fundamental way that I have honestly built one of the best performing offers. Now let's finish out the operator agent UI and see how everything's looking. So it does look like the UI is just much, much better. Let's see if it's working. So let's just do that exact same prompt. Let's say, tell me my schedule for the next 7 days and list out all of the contacts I have. We'll send this in. Now, right away, guys, that UI looks unbelievably amazing. And when you show this to a client, that is how it closes, because they are going to be very impressed. They can also easily see all of the different tools that they'll actually have access to that this agent actually does. Okay, so the agent executed its step. Let's see if we got the message back. And boom, we got a full breakdown message back. Now the structure isn't the greatest, and that easily can be fixed, but it did everything that we wanted it to, right? So we got all of the different calls and different things we have in our schedule and all of the contacts that we've been saving in the contact agent. So guys, that is how you can integrate your n8n agents into one SaaS on Replit very easily. And in our next video, I'm going to show you how I'm actually integrating all of the different agents for my own business and how that's streamlining my business and helping me grow past 6 figures a month. That's the breakdown, boys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please hit this video with a like and subscribe if you made it this far. It really helps the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one.